This is Weights and Wealth, your one-stop shop for entertaining education on building a stronger body and bank account.
We are not doctors or financial advisors and must warn you this is not medical or investing advice. It is for your entertainment.
Welcome back to Weights and Wealth. This episode is 116. We'll be talking about college education. This is part 5 of our education series. We've gone over a variety of topics ranging from homeschooling to private school, public school, the history of education. So this is a pretty in-depth series, and if you aren't familiar with our education series, you should go check it out. We have a YouTube playlist that has all the episodes regarding just education in it. So go ahead and go check that out after you listen to this episode.
Yeah, the shout out for this episode goes to Andrew from Rochester, New York, for listening to the podcast and sharing it with a friend. Thank you, Andrew. And Andrew went the trade school route on this one, the non-college route. So we'll be talking a lot about that kind of stuff today as we get into college and whether or not it's worth it, if it's worth it for you, other options, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. And then this week's wealth wisdom of the week is to pay off your loans, your debts, mainly your high interest ones, but I mean, even your low interest ones too. Yeah. It's one of the biggest hindrances to building real wealth because just like compound interest works for you, it also works against you when you have debt. Yeah.
And I would expand upon that by saying college loans, in my opinion, are really only worth it if you can theoretically or like with a very high probability guarantee that the prestige of the university you graduate from or the major you pick will guarantee you a very high paying job that will enable you to pay them off. Otherwise, if you're going to a mid-tier university, you should probably prioritize scholarship and stuff like that. If your major of choice or your desired profession is not necessarily very lucrative, maybe go down a step in prestige and expense and focus on having a low debt to income ratio. So
yeah, we'll get into some of those. I disagree slightly on some of those, but we'll get into it. First, though, we have an intro article. You may have learned in college that unicorns do not exist. However, there is a unicorn in Asia. It's called the Saola, and it's rarely even been photographed. It's one of the rarest.
It's got 2 horns, so it's a duolicorn.
It's a it's a diacorn. But this animal is called the Saola. I found the article on Silence Daily originally, but this article is from Discover Wildlife. It's nicknamed the Asian unicorn. It kind of looks like an antelope, and it was first discovered in 1992, and the last sighting was in 2013. A lot of stuff out there says there's only 5 pictures ever taken of it, but with trail cams, there's a few more, but extremely rare animal. So it's kind of interesting.
Thanks, Ted.
Usually people think unicorns don't exist, but double-horned unicorn in Asia does exist apparently.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's part of like the horse species, so I don't know if we can really count it.
It's true.
But speaking of, BS takes, Ted found this class from Virginia Tech. I think it's extra funny because it's, Virginia Technical University.
Yeah.
And it's, it's like a college dance class, but why is there a major? Like, why can you major in dance?
Well, it's not that's not like the issue here. So we'll put up the video on the side, and we'll also link it below. Virginia Tech posted it on Instagram. Mm-hmm. They're like advertising that this is what they do at their university, which I thought was interesting. That you would advertise that you can come here and take this class. But it's basically these like 4 girls just kind of frolicking around in nature / on bridges. I wouldn't really call it dancing. They're just kind of like moving from side to side between like branches or the ends of the bridge. It's really, really bizarre that you would pay a bunch of money and this is what you're paying for.
Yeah, I mean, I think everyone's taken those classes where you're kind of like, why is this here? Like, why is this even offered? Why do I have to take this? I know I've talked about it before, but
to broaden your horizons and make you more well-rounded, Nick.
Yeah, I don't know, but you could. I mean, you're paying thousands of dollars for that class. You could easily get a private teacher or something like that for like half the cost.
With what they're doing in the video, I don't think that needs to be taught. It just it doesn't look like he was dancing. Just confused as to like the objective of the class.
Just moving around,
exploring the space and nature with dance. I don't know.
Yeah, moving's free, so you don't even pay for it.
And so is the park. Yeah, and you already have a phone, so if you need to record yourself, you can just do that there.
This is part of like the problem when we start to talk about college nowadays versus what college used to be. There's a lot more of these classes that are just like, what is the purpose of this class and why are we paying this much for this class?
Yeah. Should we all talk about our dumbest classes that we had to take?
Sure.
I don't know if.
Yeah, I mean, I had to take a marriage and the family one, which was essentially just like an LGBT awareness class. It wasn't even like about how to have a healthy marriage or like, you know, like family dynamics. It was all just like weird sexualities and like why certain races don't get a lot of matches on Tinder. Like that was like some of the blocks.
Was that your
education.
English class at Dayton?
No.
No.
Mm-mm. No, it was a sociology class. It was the only sociology class that was left that had space.
Was that Dayton or Notre Dame?
It was Notre Dame. Yeah, it was tough.
Because we had to take a sociology class too, and like the teacher got to pick the topic, so I was wondering if it was one of those. And then same with English. Mine was on like child psychology, which I thought was really interesting. Like I love the class, and it was more about like raising kids. Which I thought was pretty
That's
cool.
nice. Yeah, this one was just a totally like fake name.
Yeah.
You know, I got a very good grade in it because I would kind of just, what's like the weirdest and like most asinine thing that I could write down. That's what I would write down. I got very high marks.
Nick, what was your worst class? Was it the class we took together?
So I'll have two because that's one of them. Okay, the dumbest class I took was an online gym class because I needed, which this kind of goes into our credentialism problem. I needed 150 credit hours to sit for the CPA exam, which they're kind of rolling that back now.
You didn't hit 150 at school?
No, I was like 137, which is on the like I took 18 credits most semesters. Is it like especially once I started to do accounting, but like average is like 125. Like that's yeah.
Mine, I finished with 220, I think.
I know. I don't know how. Yeah. Well, because like the Army also paid for your 21, 24 credit hours.
21
semesters.
plus every semester. I was like maxed out plus sometimes 0 credit hour courses for military stuff in there.
Yeah.
That didn't even count. That would have had more.
Oh, really? Because I didn't want to go over 18 because then they'd start charging you per credit hour at that point. But yeah, so I had to get to 150 credit hours to take the CPA, and apparently an online gym class benefits me as an accountant. So it was, I would just submit like my mile time, how many push-ups I did on like a forum, and then that was it. That was at like a Wisconsin State school.
Yeah.
Just because I was it was the cheapest class I could find. And yeah.
That's tough.
Nick and I took a class together freshman year, and it was called... It was like an English 101 kind of class, but it was called English on American Mythology. So the topics that we thought we were going to be writing about were going to be like American mythology. And I was like, oh, that sounds kind of interesting. And we show up, and the entire semester is just about how white people have horribly mistreated Native Americans. But it wasn't even about actual terrible mistreatment with like the government coming back on treaties or attacking Native Americans after they made a treaty or anything like that. It was all like
it was like present
Washington Redskins or like it was like weird like branding stuff that was like terrible
like Land
O'Lakes. yeah, like Land O'Lakes, but it was like it was literally stuff like that. Land O'Lakes was that was part of it, and it's like okay, there's actually stuff that you could be talking about here if you wanted to do, instead of American mythology, spend the whole semester talking about the history of treatment of Native Americans, but you're not even addressing those actual issues.
Yeah.
So it was just a terrible class, and our professor, I would insert some alternative views quite often.
I'm kind of like Sean, where like in college, I would write to the professor. Like I know what they're looking for. I know what to say.
I did not do that.
No, Ted did not do that.
I mean, like in
the class enjoyed it though.
In the class that I was in, like I got, like the professor would email me and ask me to stop talking in class because I was making people uncomfortable. But like during the tests, I would write what, they were told. But like I would routinely raise my hand and be like, hey, like last week, this is what you said, but this block of instruction is saying this. So like, how do you square this circle? Because these two things cannot be simultaneously true. Yeah. Like this doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. All right, moving on to the better content here. Who wants to start with education? What we want to do is college worth it? Changes in earnings? Yeah. All right, let's head to that section. All right. I guess I can start and then we can swap in. But so when you look at college being worth it or not, a lot of people say, well, you make a lot more if you go to college. So I looked into some stats on this, and we'll run through a few of them and then talk about it. But a little over half of college grads make over $100,000 a year, compared to just 14% of non-college grads making $100,000 a year.
And this isn't entry level either.
Yeah, that's just across the board.
So including people that are 20 years in.
Yes. Also including people that, we'll get into that later. In 1990, recent college graduates earned 36% more than recent high school graduates. By 2023, this widened to 67% difference. So that would say that college is definitely worth it, and then it's become more worth it since 1990. However, so I guess we can get to however now. So I think that's a misleading statistic because it looks at someone immediately out of high school and immediately out of college. If you're immediately out of high school, you're going into the most basic entry-level job most times. Like they haven't been to trade school, they haven't been an apprentice. So what, like, is that a cashier job? Like, it's a lot of jobs like that where it's minimum wage. So I think there's a really misleading stat. And college graduates are older. They have more experience. They probably did internships during college.
They had 4 years of training, essentially.
Yes, exactly. So I was looking to see if I could find anything that narrowed that the population down a little further. And I found, I think it was actually on the Fed, like the Fed.gov. But it was these two economists, and they actually did some research. So they did some analysis, and instead of just using starting salaries, they compared years of work experience when comparing the high school and the college graduate. They used years of work experience, the industry they were in, the number of hours they worked per week. And from that, they calculated if there was a college wage premium per hour of work. So how much more the college graduate earns per hour of work, which I think is a much better stat. So from that, it showed that, scroll down to the graph, and this graph will be in the video if you're watching the video. But in 2000, so it went up a lot from 1960 to 2000, and they were earning more than double in 2000 what college graduates were earning, more than double what non-college graduates were earning. But since 2000, it has been declining pretty steadily, and now it's down around 1.8 times per hour of work. And then their projections based off the stats are that it's going to keep declining, and by 2040 go down to like 1.6. So what that would tell you is that college graduates will likely make more than just a high school graduate. However, that difference has been shrinking a lot and will continue shrinking. We talked about this before with AI, how a lot of those white collar jobs are going to be disappearing or not paid as much because AI can do a lot of those sitting at a desk computer jobs. Whereas it can't do a lot of the trade jobs or other jobs that require an actual person.
And these stats look at income, but I think you also need to consider wealth. because if you start working right out of high school, you have 4 years of earning money and saving, whereas the other person is going into debt or spending a ton of money.
Absolutely.
And if you save just $20,000 from 18 to 22, that'll turn into $550,000 by the time you're 65.
Yeah, so you're getting a huge head start if you're saving
those 4 years matter so much because of how compound interest works.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a. Are you saying 20,000 per year or total?
So $5,000 a year, which is very doable. I think
I think
right
that's
out of high school,
especially if you continue to live at home after high school and work.
100%. And then that's not even like guys who maybe go to trade school, like your cousin or something like that are making like exponentially more than a cashier job. And then they just don't have any overhead expense.
Yeah.
That's So yeah, I mean, so I think what we're kind of coming around to here is that the ROI on college is declining, will likely continue to decline.
Yep.
And is it actually, is it actually worth it now?
Yeah. Because also the salary information that I read online doesn't really line up with what's true. Like if you look up like a carpenter, how much they make, it'll probably say like high $30,000, low 40. I have no idea where they're pulling these from. But I went to like the union website for Philadelphia and looked at the electrician journeyman rate. So that's 4 to 5 years of experience. So by the time that someone is graduating college, this person will be at this level. They earn $71 an hour, which comes out to $142,000 a year. That's before overtime. They can get a lot of overtime, and their benefits are worth $47 an hour, which includes $26 an hour that goes to the pension. And then they also have health, vacation, all that covered. So, you can easily clear, and you don't even really have to save for retirement if you have a pension like that. Like you're putting away $26 an hour. Pensions are guaranteed. So you know what you're getting when you're done working.
It's going to be hard to find anyone coming out of college making that much.
Right. Yeah. It's virtually not. You have to be on Wall Street.
Like maybe an analyst at Goldman. That's about it.
But living in New York City, whereas Philadelphia is like the average cost of living for the country.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah. So you could easily clear $200,000 if you work lots of overtime.
Yeah. And then, at that point, you're talking about being able to retire early if you wanted to. 35, 40.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's pretty hard to beat. But at the same time, you are going to be getting, your body's
it's
definitely suffer a little more. But
sitting is the new smoking. So you're also suffering if you're sitting at the desk.
Yeah. I mean, they're probably both not great for you. I mean, I would still probably take for my health the sitting job because I can still work out. Whereas it's kind of unavoidable just in terms of health, but I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, clearing 200 at 23 is pretty nice.
Pretty nice.
Yeah.
I don't think I would be upset.
I was talking about just in terms of health because
if we got paid hourly and the Army paid overtime, we would probably be clearing 200,000.
Oh yeah, definitely. We would also probably not be allowed to be at work, certain times and stuff like that. But what this is kind of coming around to, right, is that we have a real student loan crisis in the U.S. This is not even factoring in credit card debt, which is also nearing a crisis level. But we currently have 1 in 4 adults under 40 have student loan debt, with 36% of college graduates having student loan debt. And the median was 20 to 25,000 for those with like a post grad. If they went on to get a master's, usually about 40 to 50 grand. And a quarter of these people report struggling financially. And so, I mean, if you're just starting out in your career and you're facing, 5 figures, some people even 6 figures of debt, like it is pretty much impossible to get ahead.
Yeah.
Like for a decade, and you're just kind of coasting by. Like you won't be able to save, you won't be able to invest. You're just servicing this massive debt for who knows how long. Especially like there are some people who are just paying the minimum because that's all they can afford.
Yeah. The big thing with a quarter of people with student loan debt struggling financially. So like if you take two people, one of them has the student loan debt, and like say they pay, just take like $1,000 a month is their payment. And then you take another person who's investing that money, $1,000 a month.
Yeah.
So forget about the investment that they're getting for later in life. Forget about that part. The other part of this is if you have that $1,000 payment, you got to make that payment or you're going to have to wind up paying more. Whereas the person that's investing that $1,000 a month, if they have, say they have truck problems and they can't invest that month because they need to throw that money towards repairs, that's okay for them. Like they're missing out on like some long-term gains, but it's not negatively like punishing them like missing the student loan payment would. So like there's also that big difference, which is why having like the debt versus the choice of investing the same amount, you're going to struggle financially a lot more if it's debt.
100%. I mean, like I saw my sisters graduate with, 50 grand and 70 grand in debt. And I think they're still paying them off. Like and they're near a decade out of college, it's brutal.
Yeah. And I know this one girl in college right now, and she's admittedly not great with money, but she's going to graduate eventually with a master's with a couple $100,000 worth of debt, and she's just kind of accepted that she's going to be paying it for the rest of her life and will probably die with it. Yeah, you
could just fake your death and then go to a non-extradition country.
Yeah, because these aren't dischargeable in bankruptcy. Are private?
No, I don't think any of them are.
Private aren't either.
Yeah.
It's so crazy that it's the only loan that you can't get rid of with bankruptcy.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's also like one of the only loans an 18-year-old can easily get.
I was about to say that. Like, imagine going to a bank at 18 with no job, no income, no plan other than like, hey, in 4 years, I'll start paying you. Like, would they give you a mortgage?
No.
Would they let you buy a car?
It's so hard to get them.
Would they let you buy a car? Like, would they give you a small business loan?
Yeah.
No.
It's because they're government backed, and that's why, because they don't really have that risk of loss.
Yeah. There is no risk of loss. Really.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
let's get into the government involvement, because I've got some stuff here for that. Where is it? I don't know where it starts.
Right there?
Is that it?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So the reason that the price of college has increased so much since the 70s, I remember I used to drive with my grandpa through Fall River. It's south of Boston, Massachusetts. It's a city. And he would show me there's all those, in New England, there's all these textile mills everywhere that are just kind of vacant from like the early 1900s. But he would show me when we'd go pick up bagels for the family. That's where I went to school for electrical engineering. And I forget exactly the amount, but it was like a couple $100 was his semester and books. And it's like, what?
Yeah.
Now people are paying $60,000 a year for college. So it's and then the books are $1,000 each, $400 each. It's crazy.
I don't know where the money goes. Like the admin people.
So one
faculty.
thing is the extreme increase in faculty, aside from just professors. And then the other thing is what Sean was just talking about with the federally backed loans. So in the 70s, the government started stepping in to assist with student loans because they wanted more people to go to school.
Sounds like a nice idea.
Yeah. The road to hell is paved with good intentions, always with the government. So Sallie Mae was created in 1972, or the precursor for Sallie Mae, which allowed for that lending to the students from the federal government. And then incentives to states to guarantee loans happened in 1976. And then in 1978, the government eliminated income requirements to get loans. So they just kept stripping off these barriers to getting loans so that everyone could have one. And we'll attach a graph here that has the annual cost increase for four-year institutions. But it's crazy.
This is why banks are okay lending people $5,000 to go move around in the park, because they don't care how much you actually make at the end of the day, because they know that they will be paid back if it's not by you.
Yeah, it's not an investment on the bank's part.
Right.
Which
like they
usually
don't care.
They're looking at like investments when they're transferring.
Well, they know they're going to get their return no matter what.
Yeah, and they don't care about your financial success. It doesn't matter to them.
So, I mean, if you want to be like very successful in the U.S., you should probably start a student loan company.
Yeah. With what I was just saying with the government wanting everyone to go to school, there's a really good episode. I think it's on Vivek Ramaswamy's podcast. But it's Vivek and he has Mike Rowe on, the Dirty Jobs guy. And there's a lot of stuff we can talk about from this episode, but the thing that relates to what we were just talking about is Mike Rowe said, starting in the 60s, college was pushed on people as the better thing to do and has been doubled down on again and again and again ever since, but it's not the better option for a lot of people. And he talked about how there was a need in the 60s for more lawyers and doctors and engineers in the country. So that's why the government started pushing college on people. But then in like the mid 70s, they probably should have gotten off of that glide path and stopped pushing it on people because we had more people going to college, but they kept doubling down on it. And so then instead of like you have the college option or other options, it became college is the better option. You need to go to college. And then after that, it became, well, everyone should go to college. And then after that it became, well, everyone should be able to get loans to go to college. And now there's the push for everyone should be able to go to college for free. So it's like one of those snowballs that just keeps rolling and getting worse and worse and worse.
Well, it's also like it should have ended in the 70s, but those incentives were already introduced.
Yeah.
So now you have industries and people whose livelihoods are dependent upon pushing kids to go to college.
Yeah.
So of course it's going to stay.
Yeah. He also talked about that in the podcast. He talked about, which I never knew this before, guidance counselors partially get paid based off how many of the students get accepted into a 4-year college.
Really?
But it doesn't apply to trade schools or like 2-year programs.
Wow.
So that's part of the reason that all these thousands of high school guidance counselors all over the country are pushing college.
Go to college. Yeah.
Even if it's not in the person's best interest.
Yeah, and we see that across a lot of other places too.
Yeah.
Not just people pushing others to go to college, but anytime like an organization is created with a purpose, they're generally financially incentivized to push that purpose regardless of the outcomes for the people that they're supposed to be serving or for society as a whole, like their function, which is what's wrong with like bureaucracy, I think in general. Is that they were created for a purpose. Even if they achieve that purpose, they don't want to be eliminated. So they find new problems.
They're going to find a reason for their existence.
Yeah.
We also talked about that in the Liberty Amendments book club episode last 4th of July. I forget. It's probably like episode 60, 70 something. But then with an amendment that we could introduce to the Constitution would be that any government agency that's created like that needs to have a period that they're created for, and then they get disbanded if it's not renewed by Congress.
Yeah, sunset
because
clause.
otherwise they just keep growing, even if they're not needed anymore.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of examples of that. But I mean, going into just kind of our opinions now, I mean, it's I would see college as worth it, like I said at the beginning, if the prestige and the network that you get access to because of that is so high powered that like you are actually making high level connections in government, business, your field, you know, that it's actually like you are meeting the top minds in that industry. Yes, college is probably worth it then. But if you're just going to a regular university, you know, I don't know, like Virginia or like West Virginia University, you know, not necessarily the most prestigious in the world. Is that worth it?
I don't think the prestige matters at all.
100%
of the
it
university.
does.
I think so.
100% it does because it's your alumni network.
Okay, but like if you look at Harvard, allegedly a prestigious university, not anymore, really.
I mean, yeah, that.
Like you don't know what the college is going to do that's going to taint that prestige that it has when you're looking at it.
Yeah, but like this is a pretty rare thing that has happened. You know, like this is not a typical thing. Like,
yeah, well, I think it's
Harvard's
long
been
overdue.
around for 200 years.
400 years.
400 years, yeah, and it's been the leading institution for forever. And so, yes, it has a premium, And you used to be able to say like, wow, this person, went to Harvard. Like we can kind of check all these boxes and like we know that they're going to be reliable. Obviously, that's not entirely true now, but I still think for the general population that's coming out of Harvard, they're still probably a pretty good hire. I would still say like a Harvard graduate in economics who's like a normal person. I'm not, like there's those basket cases out there everywhere. I would still say that guy is probably smarter than the one that went to New Mexico State.
Okay.
Yeah. If you're going on average, this is law.
Yeah. I mean, I would disagree, but
that's not held up by any statistics or any.
That's my opinion.
I mean, there are smart people that go to New Mexico State. It is true. Like there are geniuses that go there, but on average, Harvard will be putting out more. You know what I'm saying?
I just don't know if I agree with the premise of it because of how people are accepted into colleges.
But you don't think standardized testing is an accurate measurement of intelligence?
I think it's a pretty good measurement of aspects of intelligence. I'm someone that tests really well, but I don't perform well in school if I'm not prioritizing it. Yeah. Like in high school, I did really well because I prioritized my academics. But then in college, there were a lot of other things I was doing that were more important to me than my academics, like EMS and ROTC and all these other things. So I think that happens to a lot of people in high school as well. And you have really smart people in high school that don't prioritize academics, and they might be working on like a side business or a project that they're starting at a young age. And so I don't know. I just don't think the college application process is going to tell you like these people are smart and these people are not as smart.
Well, like they do,
and people
consider
choose schools for
things.
different reasons too.
Like they do consider non-academic things.
factors.
The thing about the standardized test scores is something that's really easy to look at.
Yeah.
And if that person hasn't done anything else substantial with their time, like create a business, like I think that would hold a lot of weight.
Yeah, that's why I think it's a generally good measurement.
Yeah. But it's like a combination of all these things, because how else do you tell if someone's smart or not if they don't have anything to like show for it?
Yeah.
That's I mean, it's not perfect, but I don't think you can do much better without wasting a bunch of time interviewing people for hours and hours and hours.
Yeah. I just don't think that picking a school and having loans or not, like I wouldn't factor the prestige of the university into that. That's like where I'm going with it, is like I don't think it's such an astronomical difference that you should choose one school that's more prestigious and take loans versus another school where you don't take loans.
I mean, like look at like MBA programs, for example. Like
you're going a lot more for MBA law,
but even some undergrad programs. It's like if you're going to IU, which is I think the number one accounting school. Am I correct? I think. Yeah, or like no, I think U of I is number one for accounting, and then so like let's say you go to the number one program for your discipline, like you on average those people get a higher paid job in the same field.
I think it's very industry dependent, because at least with accounting, Big Four makes like 2,000 more than like every other firm, so it's like minimal.
So like,
but if you're doing something different, like if you want to go into high finance, then it matters where your undergrad is.
Yeah. And like you may be right, but I think when you're looking at the decision whether to take on a bunch of loans or not, the difference in what you're going to get paid, I don't think is affected enough by the prestige of the university you go to be worth it, mixed with the fact that if you are going to be someone that's a hard worker and that is successful, then it doesn't really matter if you go to a prestigious university or not, because you're going to set yourself apart anyway. So I just don't really think it matters.
I mean, I don't
think it matters enough to choose a prestigious university and pay loans.
I think it depends the dollar amount of the loans. If it's $400,000, but if it's like 10 grand, 20 grand, like the line has to be drawn somewhere.
Where it's like if you're going to be making 85 starting out of this school and have no debt, versus you're making 120 to 150 starting out with 50 grand of debt, because you also got scholarship because you are a high performer. Like, I would say that's worth it.
Yeah, but you don't know what you're going to get paid.
You don't, but you can look at, average starting salary of people in this major from this university.
Yeah, I think it's a number of factors.
Yeah.
I think like the amount of difference in the cost, the degree, and the school all kind of need to be
I mean, it's all
factored
a
in.
holistic thing. It's not just one part, or it's not just one thing that matters. But like I said, I just do not agree with the idea that all college degrees are equal.
Oh yeah, no, not at all.
Like I will say, I spent a semester at Dayton. It was easier than high school.
Yeah.
Like astronomically easier than high school. I go to Notre Dame. I'm in the same field of study. I was lucky if I could go out.
Yeah.
Like I was lucky if I could go to the gym. Like I had to try 10 to 15 times harder to even get worse grades. Like like just programs, universities, fields of study, and the quality of education that you're getting is just not the same.
Yeah. And I agree. I just think it's like I would rather bet on myself that I'm going to make more money because I'm going to be successful because I'm a hard worker than taking out the loans. But I mean, that's like something that everyone is going to have to take into account. Do we want to touch on whether or not college is like other options than college, or do we want to just end it?
Well, I mean, if this episode's about college, we should be sticking to college.
Right,
we shouldn't be talking about alternatives to college.
Yes. Okay.
You know what I mean?
That's good.
I would argue that college is, like I said, it's worth it if it's a good university or it's a highly technical degree that like you're not going to teach yourself.
Yeah, or if it's required to get into that profession.
Yes.
So like lawyers,
engineers,
doctors, then you need to go to college if you want to enter into those career fields.
Like
but
if
you still got to look at the loans and maybe shift your career field.
If you want to become a journalist, like you'd probably be better served just going to the LA riots and starting to film things and post stuff. I'm serious. I mean, like especially with social media now,
and
like
citizen journalism,
just go out there and start doing it. Like maybe like you kind of have to rely on other people, or I don't know, find a way to make some money to get by. But if you're 19 years old and that's your dream to be, a leading journalist, just write, just do the job. I really don't think there's a lot. I even regret this in some ways with my major in political science and stuff. It's like I could have just read all the books myself, So it's like I'm coming at this from like the point of like I wish I had changed my major and taking courses in something that I wouldn't have taken the time to teach myself. Because it's like some things like you're not going to sit down and just read a finance book. Or like a finance textbook and teach yourself everything, or an engineering one, unless you are Werner von Braun and Warren Buffett,
Yeah, I mean, but it is also helpful to have somebody to ask questions to and to talk about things with other people, which you could figure out a way to do that on your own. It is a lot harder. And then I also think a degree does open doors. Like a lot of places still require it to even get there, or to even like have them look at your resume, which I don't think is a good thing, but it's just how it is right now.
Yeah. All right. We will see you guys next week. If you have any other questions about any of the articles or studies we're looking through, just send us a DM.
Thanks for joining us today at Weights and Wealth, and don't forget to apply today's lessons to live healthy and wealthy.
If this conversation will contribute to your fitness and financial gains, please share it with a friend or family member and give a 5-star review so more people can lift bigger weights and get bigger bank accounts.